Hello, Jeff Downing here, Zimmerman High School girls basketball head coach. We're going to run through some things for our player-parent preseason meeting. That's rather poetic. And I'm sure after we're done, especially those of you that are brand new to the program, you may have some questions. So the first thing up here on my whiteboard is ZHSGirlsBasketball.com. A lot of your questions can be answered by looking at the team website, ZHSGirlsBasketball.com. Everything that I'm going to cover today is also posted there, and it's where you're going to need to go to get to item number 1, the handbook. Players and parents, we're asking that everyone read through the handbook, make sure you understand what the rules and procedures are to be part of the high school basketball team program. Once you've gone through the handbook, there's a Google form that we're asking you to fill out and submit, so we have a record of everybody going through that. Really need you to get that done before January 4th. Players, we're also asking you to join the GBB or Girls Basketball Remind Group. You do that by texting at ZHSGB to 81010. Again, that's 81010 at ZHSGB. The Girls Basketball Remind Group is primarily for players. It doesn't matter if parents join it. Sometimes in the past, the notifications have gotten quite frequent when there's a lot of changes or a lot of updates happening, and a lot of parents ask to be removed from the group because they found it somewhat bothersome to be getting text messages throughout the day. So the GBB, or the Girls Basketball Remind Group, is primarily set up for the girls, for the players. Parents, you have your own Remind Group. The Half Court Club, our booster club, has a Remind Group set up for parents. You join that by texting at HALFCOU, same number, 81010. Again, that's 81010 at HALFCOU. That's the Half Court Club Remind Group, and that is primarily for parents. It's okay if a player wants to join that. Again, you'll just perhaps be getting some texts that may not necessarily pertain to you. Okay, we're going to hit the ground running this year, and just be thankful that at least we get to hit the ground. You know, a week ago we were still wondering, are we going to have a season, are we not going to have a season? So I'm super excited that the governor and the folks who have the authority to make those decisions came around and decided to let us play. So we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we get to continue to play throughout. Part of what we want to do is get it out there and get our name out there, so we have a clothing store or a clothing order put together. Players that had registered when we sent it out all received an email with some of this information in there. It is also on our website, ZHSGirlsBasketball.com. You can find and download or print a copy of the order form for the clothing. That will be due on Wednesday, January 6th, so we can get it done in a timely fashion. The company that we're going with anticipates being able to turn our order around within a 3-week time period, hopefully sooner than that. But we'll see how that goes. So back to practice, January 4th, Monday. We have late practice the first week, so we will be practicing at 4:30 until roughly about 6:30. The early practice session ends at 4:15, but we need the 15-minute time frame to clean and sanitize the gym, to follow the COVID guidelines and make sure it's ready for the next group to come in. So in the event something bad happens, something unfortunate happens, we don't have to go through all the contact tracing, and so we're trying to take care of that business as best we can. Players, you'll need to come in the door by the flagpole. So we'll all enter that door. Very soon after this January 4th date, some construction is going to begin here in our building down by the gymnasium. So we just as well start now. Use the door at the flagpole. The other door is going to be closed down pretty soon. We will not have access to locker rooms at all. As a matter of fact, shortly they're going to be disappearing. So no locker rooms. The weight room is going to be moved over into Gym A. So that'll be a little different scenario as well. So it's super important that we all use the door by the flagpole to get in. At the end of practice, you'll be exiting out the nearest door in the gym that you practiced in. So in our varsity gym, we have doors that go out into the student parking lot. In gyms B and C, where we'll also be practicing at times, we have doors that exit out right back onto the sidewalk by the flagpole. So depending on what gym you're practicing in, that will make a difference as to what door you'll be exiting. Everything that you're going to need for practice is going to need to be brought in with you each day and taken home with you after practice each day. We will have access to bathrooms, but we do not have access, again, to locker rooms, and we do not have access to drinking fountains or any means to refill water bottles. So you're going to need to bring in enough water for practice. Enough water means bring more than you think you're going to need until you kind of regulate and figure out just how much water am I going to go through in a high school basketball practice. You might be surprised. So bring plenty of water. We'll jump into team pictures. Saturday, January 9th. We're going to get pictures done right away, so hopefully we can get them back before the season's over as well. We'll take our pictures at 10 o'clock Saturday morning, and then we'll have a little shoot-around, walk-through type practice, and we'll be done by 12:30. So that probably will be our only Saturday practice. We may, it's premature for me to jump into what's going to happen with the schedule. You're going to have to be very, very flexible. That's what I can tell you. Having coached through a pandemic and a fall season already, we are lucky if we know 24 hours ahead of time. There were a lot of things this fall that it was closer to 8 to 10 hours is how much advance notice we had and how quickly things were changing. It seems like that's kind of settled down a little bit, but there are still very frequent changes. Other schools and districts have different things happening within their setting, and even within our conference. Word is right now, and this could change too, but as of right now, Mora is not going to start their winter sports on January 4th, so we're not exactly sure what that's going to do to our schedule. If you've been keeping up to date with some of this stuff, the Minnesota State High School League put out a kind of a 3-plan option, and right now we're on plan number 2, which looks like 18 regular season games and a state tournament. That can all change as well, but right now that's what's on the plan for us to look forward to. So practice January 4th, 4:30, pictures January 9th at 10 in the morning. The last thing up here, maybe the most important thing, COVID guidelines. We are going to be adhering strictly to these guidelines to do everything we can to ensure everyone's safety and that we get to continue on and have the best possible experience we can with our basketball season this year. This absolutely will be a season like no other. That's for darn sure. We've never played basketball through the middle of a pandemic before, and I hope we never have to do it again. But again, we just need to focus on the bright side and be thankful that we at least get to have some sort of a season. One of the biggest things, and it may be, it's certainly going to be the thing that I'm probably going to hear the most complaints about, the expectation that's coming down to the coaches is that players will be masked at all times. At this point, there is still conversation going as to whether or not you're going to wear a mask during competition, during a game. Right now, it sounds like the powers that be are leaning in that direction, but that can change, and the final word hasn't come back on it. So it's a matter of practicing on January 4th with a mask or not practicing. My suggestion is that you're going to want to bring at least 2 masks to every practice. Sweat, whatever. There may be a point in practice where you're going to want to change. This is a winter sport. if your mask is wet and you're sweaty and you walk outside and it's 13 below zero, you're probably going to want a dry mask on your face, not a wet mask that's going to freeze and possibly irritate your skin or whatever. So I encourage you to be prepared with more than one mask. We have found through experimentation, Under Armour makes a very comfortable mask. It's actually designed with athletics and sports in mind. It's not cheap. We can get them for about $15, and that's something we could talk about if we wanted to put in a team order and get several of those. We can talk about that, I guess, on January 4th, if that's what we want to do. Let's see. Wonder what we skipped. Right now we have 24 student athletes signed up to participate. Have a couple of girls who played last year who haven't signed up yet, so if they do, that'll give us 26. 26 is a number that will work with 3-level teams. So it'll be really good if you know of people who want to play. Ask them if they've signed up. If they haven't signed up, encourage them to do so. As you may know, parents in particular, you probably pay a little more attention to this than the students. Our district is looking for ways to save $3 million. If we don't have numbers, they're not going to keep coaches on staff. So if you know people who might want to play basketball, this is a great year to come and try it. Not everybody who is going to come and play basketball necessarily wants to be trying to compete at a varsity level. Some people might just want to come to get in shape and get exercise and run up and down the gym, and they like basketball. You don't have to be a superstar to enjoy doing something. So if you have some friends or you know of some girls that have talked about maybe playing basketball, this would be a great year for them to jump in and do it. And as I said earlier, we'll do everything we can to make it be an enjoyable, fun experience for everybody that wants to do it. When you get your email or you log on to zhsgirlsbasketball.com, this is, let me walk up here closer to the camera. This is what your clothing order form will look like. It's kind of what you're looking for. The information that you need to order your clothing is on there. Checks will be payable to Half Court Club or HCC. And I'm certain I blew through this really quickly, probably left a lot of stuff out. For players, 8th graders in particular, a couple of 9th graders are new to our program this year. Uniforms are provided, transportation is provided, to and from games, not to and from practices, but to and from games. I don't know. If there's questions, you can email me. My email can be found on zhsgirlsbasketball.com. All the coaches' emails are listed there. They're also in the handbook, so you can read through that. Reach out with questions. We'll get those questions answered. If we have a lot of questions, we'll set up a spot on the website for frequently asked questions, and then we'll get them. But somebody has to ask first, or it won't ever be frequently asked. I'm sure I left something out, but this is what we need to do. Have this meeting, so it's had. Thanks for playing basketball. We'll see you January 4th.